Mike, I know he referred to you, but it's so noisy here, we could not hear that clever line as we look at the Detroit River and welcome you back to the Palace of Auburn Hills. Look at the McDonald's starting lineups. And for the Milwaukee Bucks, Damon Jones, who had a red-hot ball game in Game 4 back in Milwaukee, 6 of 6, 3 of 3 from three-point range. Michael Redd, as you mentioned, Czar, would like to turn it from the 5 of 19 the other night. Up front, Desmond Mason, Joe Smith, and Keith Van Horn makes his second consecutive start. And for the Pistons, the backcourt, Chauncey Billups, Richard Hamilton. Hamilton with a terrific game the other night, 10 of 17. He had 27 points. Tayshaun Prince, another solid ball game up front with Ben Wallace and Rasheed Wallace. The officials are Bob Delaney, Bernie Fryer, and Bill Spooner. Let's check in with Charles Davis.
Thank you, Marv. I had a chance to talk with Michael Redd just a few minutes ago, and the leading scorer of the Milwaukee Bucks told me that he called a players-only meeting after their last practice in Milwaukee yesterday. He said his message to the team was short, stern, and to the point. We have to get it done today because there truly is tomorrow. No tomorrow. As he said, it truly is win or go home, and he's going to do it tonight in some brand new shoes because he says they're made for playing well. Marv?
All right, the Pistons looking to close out the series. The New Jersey Nets in the wings. Bucks hoping to extend to a sixth game on Saturday. And as we touched on the other night, only 7 teams have come back to win when they've been down 3-1. And Detroit did it in last year's playoffs against the Orlando Magic.
That's something that you might consider, a new pair of shoes. It might enhance your performance.
Okay.
There's the new shoes. Michael Redd busting out with his new shoes for tonight's game.
All right, Ben Wallace will go on the opening tip against Joe Smith. And it's controlled by the Pistons. Billups being played by Jones. And Wallace, Rasheed Wallace, operating down low and way off on that first shot attempt.
Overall, Milwaukee very pleased with the job that Joe Smith has done on Rasheed Wallace. And quietly, Wallace has almost as many shots as the 2 leading scorers, Hamilton and Billups, does in this series. And there's Joe Smith going to the basket, changing to the left hand, finishing it off.
So the Bucks with a 2-0 lead. We are just underway. Here is Hamilton. Rebounded by Ben Wallace. And they have the new shot clock. Open opportunity for Tayshaun Prince. Mason. And Smith forcing it. Van Horn trying to guide it. Here's Billups. Yes.
Well, Damon Jones stopped the ball, but then backed off of Billups to stop the pass that he anticipated was going to Ben Wallace. You leave one of the 2 leading scorers wide open for a 15-footer.
And Desmond Mason looking to turn it from a quiet game on Monday, only 3 of 11 from the field.
And Desmond Mason has really been affected by the length of Tayshaun Prince. Prince has changed, altered a number of his shots. Mason has given up attacking the basket because of the length of Tayshaun Prince.
Hamilton. Richard Hamilton, as we mentioned, had the big game the other night and finished strong, 14 of his 27 in the 4th quarter. Redd able to save it. Mason with a nice pass, and Smith able to put it down.
Well, there's that draw and kick that Terry Porter talked about. It came in a little bit different manner. That time he got in the heart of the defense in front of the rim, made Ben Wallace commit, and then dropped it off to a teammate.
Monday night in Milwaukee, Detroit shot 57% from the field, and Chauncey Billups way off.
This building is cold, obviously very cold to the players also, as Van Horn is rejected going to the basket. Joe Smith with the offensive rebound.
So the Bucks have an 8-4 lead, 3 minutes gone by. Rasheed Wallace posting up on Joe Smith. And last touch by Smith. Shot clock with 7 seconds remaining. However, the lead official, Bob Delaney, walking over to the scorer's table. Let's see if they make an adjustment.
Milwaukee has zoned the out-of-bounds plays under the basket, on the side, and occasionally they extend their little zone into a half-court trap as Detroit brings it down. So we'll see if they go into that zone. Detroit has worked with special plays versus the zone inbound.
They added 2 seconds on the clock, 9 on the shot clock and counting. An open opportunity for Hamilton. Wide open shot for Richard Hamilton from downtown. Bucks 8, Pistons 7. It's a matchup of the number 3 seed against the number 6 seed. Remember, the Bucks did win here in Detroit after they were blown out in game 1. A rainbow by Joe Smith. Joe Smith, a one-time member of the Detroit Pistons, did not have a particularly strong season here with the Pistons, but has done exceptionally well in this playoff series. And he's opened up 4 or 5. He has 8 points. Foul is called on Red.
Smith has been very, very consistent, averaging over 12 points per game, double figures in rebounds at 10.5 per game, and has really played pretty good defense on Rasheed Wallace.
Here's Hamilton getting inside. Ben Wallace is right there. Ben Wallace in game 4 only 1 of 7 from the field, but 5 of 6 from the foul line, which for Ben is most unusual, and did it in the usual areas of rebounding and block shots. 4 more block shots for Ben, 4 steals. Here's Mason, rebounded by Van Horn. Keith Van Horn making his 2nd straight start, not able to get going the other night, just 5 of 13.
But I thought at least he was a little more aggressive as a starter last game than he had been.
Ben Wallace again. So the Bucks lead by 1. Five minutes gone by. And here is Mason.
Well, there's one of the examples Terry Porter had talked about. We've got to put the ball on the floor, make the Pistons commit to the ball, and then give yourself up to make a teammate better.
And Milwaukee has come out and hit 7 of 10 from the field. Shot clock is down to 5. Phillips, nice goal. Chauncey Phillips with the scoop to bring Detroit within 1. We have not seen many stops here in the early going.
Terry Porter's very honest. He said, look, if we're going to have a chance to beat Detroit, we have to shoot the ball exceptionally well. You said they've gotten off to this hot 7 of 10 start. That's the only way they're going to have a chance to really shoot the thing.
Beautiful pass. The give and go between Phillips and Prince. Pistons lead by 1. We were talking about the scoring with Larry Brown earlier tonight, and he says he's amazed that the Pistons are averaging 100 points a game. That is not their style. Desmond Mason has had the hot hand, and the Bucks lead by 1. Milwaukee, on the other hand, during the regular season does score. They average 98 a game. That's the most in the East, 4th best in the NBA. Here is Prince getting inside, and he is fouled. Hit from behind. So Prince will shoot 2. The foul on Mason. 5:42 remaining in this first quarter. Bucks by 1. The 2004 NBA playoffs on TNT is brought to you by Hyundai. Visit NBA.com and enter to win a new Hyundai Santa Fe. by Radio Shack. You've got questions, they've got answers. By Wendy's new Chicken Temptations. It's better here. And by Miller. Vote Miller for president of beers. Good call. Welcome back to the Palace of Auburn Hills. Good shooting start by both teams. Pistons 7 of 12. And the Bucks have hit 8 of 11 from the field.
And the Bucks being led by their starting center, Joe Smith, who has hit 4 out of 5 for 8 points, and he's very crafty around the basket, switching to that left hand to avoid the block shot, making sure they're not going to block it by dunking that one. And then a little bit of footwork, spinning away from Ben Wallace, getting the good roll in the basket. Joe Smith off to the quick start.
Joe Smith with a solid game Monday night in Milwaukee. 17 points, 12 rebounds. Tayshaun Prince at the line. We were talking earlier with Larry Brown about Tayshaun Prince, and Larry saying he has been a pleasant surprise. He said it seems as if Rasheed Wallace's presence has made every phase of Tayshaun's game better.
One of the big reasons, because it took pressure off of Prince. It's another guy that can score, another guy that can post up. All of those things allowed Prince to not have to worry so much about getting points on the glass, or on the board, I should say, for this Pistons team.
Mason. And last touch by Miller.
So Mason catches a break. Prince doesn't play him. Instead, Ben Wallace does. Has a hard time getting a look at the rim. That's why he's shooting what he is.
So tough going up against that Detroit front line. There were 10 blocks the other night, 35 block shots in the 4 games. Here is Smith, rebounded by Rasheed Wallace.
That's exactly what Terry Porter wants. And Horn puts it on the floor, creates a shot for a teammate.
Prince being played by Mason. There's Billups with the step. Rasheed Wallace not able to hang on. Just under 5 minutes remaining in this opening quarter. Game tied at 16. Michael Red. It counts, and the foul. He fired it off glass, which was not his intent. He was hit by Hamilton, and he'll head to the line.
What happens is Richard Hamilton winds up trailing, as you can see right there. Then the sudden stop, Hamilton continues to go, runs into him from behind. Nice call, glass, as he banks it in.
Michael Red, who is an excellent free throw shooter, not able to complete the three-point play. Bucks lead 18-16, and here's the trap by Milwaukee. Rasheed Wallace.
They get what they want. A quick shot attempt by the Pistons. They miss, and now Milwaukee comes back in transition, has an opportunity to try and get an easy score.
Red with the catch and shoot. We saw very little of that the other night. There's a mismatch as Prince is able to take advantage of Jones.
And you saw the whole Piston team recognize it. They moved out of the way. Prince had a smaller player on his back, gave him the ball in the post, and gave him a chance to operate down low, looking to see if anybody comes in double teams. Nobody came that time.
And Jones working hard, then gives it up. Here's Mason. And Desmond Mason getting good looks. He's 4 of 6. He has 8 points.
Coming into the game, Marv, Mason's shot was 33% in the first 4 playoff games. Here he is off to a terrific start for himself. 4 for 6 on the floor.
Horn jumping out at Billups. Hamilton, shot clock running down. Prince able to get to it, and his foul. Basket will not count. Tayshaun Prince, very active, able to reach in for that loose ball, and he was hit by Smith. So Prince will go back to the line.
Really, there was no one there with a body on Prince. He went in unmolested to go into the basket to come up with the offensive rebound.
You can get an all-access look at the NBA playoffs. Tune into the NBA TV playoff show Destination Finals every weeknight at 6 p.m. only on NBA TV. Bucks 20, Pistons 19 as we come up on 3 minutes to go in this first quarter.
The first miss for Prince from the foul line in the playoffs. He was 11 for 11 coming into tonight's game.
Nice play, but Smith felt the pressure. Ben Wallace was right there. Oh, Phillips tried the look away, broken up. Last touch by the Bucks. And a timeout called by Milwaukee. It's the Bucks 20. The Pistons 19 in this game 5 of this best of 7 Eastern Conference first round set.
I gotta, tribute that to Coach Doug Collins. I think the year that I played with Michael Jordan, when you play with Michael, he likes to dominate the ball and things like that. So I had to find other ways to try to score and things like that. And Doug, didn't want two guys to, hold the ball as much. So he always told me, Rip, you got to learn how to move without the ball and backdoor cut and, try to get your shot off, not just by having the ball in your hand, but coming off screens and things like that. So he's definitely, helped me out a lot with that.
That, incidentally, was when Doug was in full voice. He had a sit-out last night under the weather. Mike Dunleavy filling in for Doug, who is scheduled to work Sacramento Dallas tonight, along with Kevin Harlan and Steve Kerr. And you made a very supportive call to Doug earlier tonight. You left him a message, said you really enjoyed his work last night, although you thought he looked a little different on camera.
I just got very nice. It was confusing. I'm sorry. Did you share any special remedies with Doug?
I did earlier, yes. Prince tries to get it down low, intended for Rasheed Wallace, who is looking the other way. It's the Bucks 20, Pistons 19, 2.5 to play in this first quarter. Marv Albert, the czar, Mike Fratello, Charles Davis, Mason not able to hit but kept alive. Mason had it knocked away, recovered by Van Horn. Mason.
Well, they're getting good looks at the basket. They're moving the basketball, coming up with a couple second shot opportunities, and they're doing a good job of executing the game plan, which was create shots for your teammates.
Hamilton not able to hit. Here's Hamilton again. A moment ago, we heard Richard Hamilton talk about being able to be more effective moving without the ball. In the past, Richard Hamilton considered a one-dimensional player, and he has really blossomed this season. Ben Wallace with his second rejection.
This is what makes it so tough. You start to get by your defender, you think you have an open look at the glass, and suddenly Wallace leaves from the other side of the lane, comes across, and sends the ball into the stands.
Mehmet Okur has come on for Rasheed Wallace. Shot clock to 4. Van Horn. Rebounded by Prince. Mehmet Okur has played very well in this series. The other night, 4, 6, 8 points. Phillips. Van Horn with the box out on Okur.
During the regular season, Billups shot 39% from the floor. Not a great percentage, but he takes so many three-pointers, you understand that. But in the playoffs, he's down under 37% from the floor.
Brown wants Okur to go at Van Horn. He does, and draws the foul. And we're seeing more and more of Mehmet Okur going down low, which is what Larry Brown would like to see, although as Larry was telling us earlier, he knows that the guy, his game is from the perimeter, but he has been encouraging him to try and go for the mismatch.
And Larry mentioned that he has the skills to play down there. He's just very comfortable going behind the three-point line and stroking three. So little by little, Larry has brought him along during the season. And right now, of course, biggest problem is that he's got Rasheed Wallace and Ben Wallace on the same team that start in front of him, and he can only get so many minutes come playoff time. But he knows that he's bigger and stronger than Van Horn, so he just tries to back him down, dips that shoulder a little bit, and Van Horn hits him on the arm and goes to the line for two.
A bet from Yalova, Turkey, a member of the Turkish national team. And a big crowd favorite. You heard the reaction when he checked in. Pistons by 3. Bucks started 8 of 11 from the field. Since then, they've hit only 2 of 11 shots. Red had it stripped by Hamilton. Lindsey Hunter, who just checked in, passed on the shot. Here's Ben Wallace. Rebounded by Okor. Shot was blocked. Red ahead of the field, being chased. And, oh, he's hurt. Michael Red landing hard and stays down. Play continues. Pistons are 5 on 4. We're down to 10 seconds remaining in the quarter. Now Red is back up. He claims he was fouled. Here's Okor, and he is walloped by Smith.
Right at the last second, as Red went up, the defender chasing him down may have brushed the back of his leg right there. It's tough to tell if Prince has a hand on him or not from that particular angle, but you see that Red's legs go out from under him. He lands on the small of his back, and I was concerned that he may have done some damage to his knee the way he landed on the heel and ankle part, but he's up right now. Hopefully nothing serious there.
5 seconds remaining in this first quarter.
See if we see Tayshaun Prince come up behind him. Hamilton goes by. There's Prince. There's that slight hand in the back, but when you're in the air suspended, it doesn't have to be real hard push. Anything can knock you off balance.
Joe Smith sits down, replaced by Brian Skinner. Darvin Ham checks in for the Pistons. Detroit up by 2, 5 8/10 seconds to go in the first. Van Horn, Red, and here is Brevin Knight, who just came on, and he is fouled.
They're going to put time back on the clock right now.
Detroit had a foul to give.
We got a trigger. We had a foul at the buzzer.
We'll put a few tenths of a second back on the clock here. And the reason, Marv, that they're allowed to go over now, the officials looking at this because all zeros appear on the clock. So they'll take a look to see if the foul occurred before the red lights went on and the clock went to 0. I think they'll probably put 2 tenths, 3 tenths of a second back on.
Looked at the replay, and he has indicated that they will put 3/10 of a second back on the clock.
Time only to tip the ball into the basket. You can't catch and shoot it at 3/10.
And the Bucks don't even attempt it. Richard Hamilton off to the good start. 7 points. He's the high man for the Pistons. Joe Smith, Desmond Mason leading the Bucks with 8. 1 quarter complete. Detroit by 2. Back at the Palace of Auburn Hills. Look at downtown Detroit, and the Pistons with a 24-22 lead on the Bucks. There's Tiger catcher Pudge Rodriguez. Tigers lost today to the Angels, although they are off to a surprising start. Second quarter is underway. Brevin Knight now working at the point. Here is Tony Kukoc, who just checked in. Rebounded by Mike James. James and Hunter in the backcourt. Rasheed Wallace is back. He is up front with Darvin Ham and Mehmet Okur.
Well, as you remember, Brevin Knight back in game number 2, a huge performance. 11.7 rebounds in 27 minutes off the bench.
Rasheed Wallace not able to hit. Ham looking for the back tap, and he's fouled by Kukoc. It is a non-shooting foul, and Ham will put it in play. Darvin Ham, one-time member of the Milwaukee Bucks. Hunter for 3. Saved by Skinner. Here is Knight. Rebounded by Okur.
Good ball movement in transition. 3-4 passes, and there's Brevin Knight with a wide open shot. And sometimes it comes down to the simplicity of you have to make shots, particularly when you're open against Detroit.
Brevin Knight had his best game of the series here in Detroit as Mehmet Okur is able to make the shot over Tony Kukoc. Pistons up by 4. Knight. Rebounded by Ham, slapped away by Knight, recovered by the Bucks. Kukoc off the fake. Nice play. Van Horn from Kukoc.
You saw Brevin Knight on the drive to the basket, affected by the shot blocking ability, but the hustle of the Bucks finding ways to put points up on the board with second shot opportunities.
And prior to that field goal by Van Horn, the Bucks had hit only one of their previous 11 shots. After the good start, Ham is blocked. Recovered by Hunter. Hunter just defeat the shot clock. Okur is on it. And here is Hunter. Rebounded by Hunter. And Larry Bird gets up and says, hey guys, you got to settle this down.
Milwaukee's so anxious to get fast break opportunities. They're running out, leaving 1 and 2 guys back on the glass against the Pistons. The Pistons keep getting second shots.
And we just saw miscommunication. Hunter trying to throw the lob. He thought Okur would be anticipating. He was not. Van Horn able to get it to Red. That was a 3-point attempt. Back comes James. Nice crossover move by James. And once again the shot deflected short.
Larry Brown wants to play Ham more minutes on the floor, but he realizes that he has to have a shooter. That's why he keeps Rasheed Wallace on the floor. If Ham is on the floor, he wants a guy that can make shots from the perimeter, or Milwaukee just pack it in and take away the inside game of Ham.
Knight, and he has been off. Red, nice move, able to go glass, and the game is tied at 26.
Well, remember way back at the beginning of the first quarter, you were talking about the field goal percentages, 70, 58 for the two teams respectively. Now they're down to 43 and 37.
Well, the Bucks have gone the other way after the furious start. Shot clock at 5. Here is Ham.
You got to credit right there for getting a shot block, then shooting an air ball to come right back, wide open, nobody playing you. You know everybody's looking at you, and you splash it down. Nice move by Ham.
Pistons 28, and the Bucks 26. Skinner going at Rasheed Wallace, who took it away on the block. That's his first rejection. James for Okur. Here is Wallace for 3. Rebounded by Kukoc.
Just a reminder, last game, 10 block shots for the Pistons against Milwaukee.
Skinner trying to keep it alive. Bucks try to stay alive in this series, hoping to bring it back to Milwaukee for a game 6 on Saturday as Detroit looks to wrap it up here tonight. That's an offensive foul. A charging foul on Kukoc.
Lindsey Hunter knew that he had the 6'10" player leading the break in the middle of the floor. So what he do? Holds his ground at the foul line. Kukoc on the move, looks right, passes left, and runs him over in the middle.
My money, yes or no? No.
Drama isn't how you make your money. It's how far you'll go to get it back.
You are crazy.
See Mel Gibson in Payback. Saturday night at 8. One of the Saturday night new classics on TNT.
Back in Detroit, there's Herb Brown, Larry Brown's older brother, one-time head coach of the Pistons, long-time NBA assistant. Herb usually helps out during the early warm-ups as guys work on their shooting. And Piston players kid Herb about these old-fashioned throwback two-handed type passes. As a result, assistant coach Mike Woodson gave Herb the nickname Cousy in deference to Celtic Hall of Famer Bob Cousy, who was so fundamentally sound and a great player. So when Herb and his wife recently added this half lab, half poodle to the family, they named him Cousy. Bob will be so proud. That's Cousy, Sean.
That's a touching story right there.
Many of our staff members have pointed out you are so insensitive, which has led to much tension at production meetings. It's a nice little story, Herb. I'm well done about it.
Tears right now, on the verge. On the verge.
Because of the story, or was there something else? You all right?
I'm fine. I'll be okay.
And Wallace. Rebounded by Brian Skinner. 5 minutes gone by. In the second, the Pistons up by 2. Call away from the ball, and it's against Detroit. It's on Ham. For the Pistons, their first team foul. Bucks have a front line now of Skinner with Smith and Mason. Knight and Kukoc in the backcourt. Mason, that's not a good shot. That was nearly tipped in by Ben Wallace.
We're not seeing the open offense that Milwaukee used so successfully here in their victory over the Pistons. We're not seeing the free-flowing movement offense that they normally use during the regular season. We're seeing a number of isolations right now, trying to create something out of that isolation set.
Right off the steal, here comes Knight. Pistons able to get back. Skinner posting. Rebounded by Ben Wallace. Hamilton with a nice fingertip grab and throw it away. Skinner on the intercept.
7 turnovers now for Detroit.
There's the lob, did not work. Kukoc ends up with it and scores. Tony Kukoc had the excellent game in that Milwaukee victory here at the Palace. Larry Brown very upset after game 2. He said, we played like strangers. We did not execute, and he's upset here.
I think the big point is possessions right here. Second shot opportunity. Ball happened to bounce back in Tony Kukoc's direction. An open look and 2.
What is the power of inspiration? Can a car be beautiful yet capable in all seasons? Yes, with ESP and all-speed traction control. Can a 340 horsepower Hemi give you fuel efficiency without sacrificing power? With advanced MBS technology, it just did. The totally new Chrysler 300, starting at $23,595. Chrysler, inspiration comes standard.
The hoops, the laps, the jumps, the kicks, b-ball, hardball, softball, stick to the blood, the
The 2004 NBA playoffs on TNT are being brought to you by Chrysler. Inspiration comes standard. And by Lamisil AT, the official athlete's foot treatment of the NBA. Coming up next, right here on TNT, Game 5 between the Dallas Mavericks and the Sacramento Kings. The Mavs trying to stay alive in that series. Tomorrow night on ESPN, it's the Hornets and the Heat, followed by the Nuggets and the Timberwolves, coverage starting at 7 o'clock Eastern time. And Sunday on ABC, it is game 1 between the Lakers and the Spurs, coverage starting 3:30 Eastern time. Game tied at 28, just under 6 minutes to play in this first half. Richard Hamilton is back with Chauncey Billups in the backcourt. Tayshaun Prince has returned up front with Ben Wallace and Rasheed Wallace. So the Pistons are back to their starting 5. Here's Ben Wallace. Going glass. A driving hook by Ben Wallace, who now has 6 points.
Larry Brown likes getting Wallace X number of touches per game. He feels that when they leave Ben completely out of the offense, they're not as good an offensive team, and can't argue with the fact that they're 10 points above their regular season average here in the playoffs.
Good coach. Hamilton pushing it down. 3-on-2 for the Pistons. Good recovery, though, by the Bucks. Rasheed Wallace trying to get it down low to Ben Wallace. And will be Milwaukee ball.
So the recognition by Milwaukee. Brevin Knight on Richard Hamilton. Hamilton was going to shoot it right over the top of him. Instead, Milwaukee came immediately with the big man, double teamed them, and the resulting turnover, Bucks ball.
Pistons have turned it over 6 times in this second quarter. Bucks with only 1. Good coach. Billups met by Knight. Shot clock at 7. Hamilton trying to get it down low. And it'll be Piston ball with 5 on the 24. The Pistons went 54-28 in the regular season. They finished in the number 3 seed in this Eastern Conference. They won 20 of their last 24 games. Prince, nice save by Rasheed Wallace. Then Wallace on it. And his pass intercepted by Tony Kukoc. Very sloppy second quarter by the Pistons. And that pass intercepted by Ben Wallace. Chauncey Billups backs to 3-point territory.
Billups got his feet set. Ben Wallace, great anticipation that time on the wing. Shot the gap, came up with the steal, led the break, dished it off, and then was ready to get on the glass in case of a miss. Now, this is your starting center right now. Not a bad job here by Ben Wallace. Once he thinks he knows where the ball's going, the long cross-court pass by Knight leads to the steal. Wallace pushes, kicks out, Billups for the 3.
It is a Southwest Airlines game break coming your way shortly. The Verizon Wireless halftime report. Charles Barkley and Kenny Smith will be here with me, and they will break down the first half of this Detroit-Milwaukee game and look ahead to what could be the clincher as the Kings play at home against the Dallas Mavericks. And one footnote to that game, Doug Collins, who lost his voice last night and couldn't work the Laker game, is a game-time decision for Game 2 of our doubleheader. Back to Marv and the Czar.
All right, thanks, Ernie. Steve Kerr is out there, though, as the 3rd member of the broadcast crew. And I know Steve is thinking, hey, I wish Doug the very best in terms of his health, but let's see now if Doug doesn't work, I'll be able to talk more.
So you think Steve really wants Doug to do it? Doug is stretching out his vocal cords right now in the locker room. That's why he's a game-time decision.
22nd timeout is called by the Bucks. The Bucks with only 8 points the last 12 minutes. They started out hitting 10 of 15 from the field. Since then, only 4 of 22 shooting. Let's check in with Charles Davis. Charles?
Thank you, Marvel. The Bucks know that they have their backs against the wall. The Pistons know that they want to close out the Bucks tonight. up 3-1. Detroit is 4-0 in 3-1 situations. The last time, 1990, when they closed out the Portland Trail Blazers, who were led by one Terry Porter. I spoke with Ben Wallace yesterday, and I said, Ben, how do you close them out? He said, hey, we want to deliver the knockout punch. We just don't want to throw a lot of haymakers early going. Guys?
All right, well, the Pistons have a 5-point lead. It's their biggest lead of the night. And that is last touched by Red. He lost possession. Here comes Phillips to try to beat the Bucks up court. Hamilton, strip, and recovers. Hamilton and Phillips in the backcourt. Rasheed Wallace. The tip missed by Ben Wallace. Prince keeping it alive and then knocked out of bounds by Milwaukee. Skinner got a piece of it.
Mark, because of the poor shooting by both teams, 37% basically. Right now, we've got a combined total of just 61 points going into the half with about 3 minutes left.
Phillips met on a switch by Skinner. Nice pass. Rasheed Wallace off the flip from Chauncey Billups.
Billups understanding that there was a much smaller player trying to put a body on Rasheed Wallace. So he kind of came to the middle, made believe he was going to swing it around the horn, and then just lobbed it up in the air for Rasheed to catch and finish.
So the Pistons, despite the many turnovers committed here in the second quarter, have taken command. They're up by 7. Bucks are having trouble scoring in the second quarter. Another blocked shot by Detroit. That's 3 for Ben Wallace.
The officials telling Terry Porter it was on the way up. He's allowed to go get it. It was a slow shot on the way up, and there it is, still rising as Ben sends it out of bounds.
3 on the shot clock. Smith has to hurry. Skinner with a good box out. Here is Damon Jones for 3. Pistons in the midst of a 7-0 run. Phillips. Rasheed Wallace able to short hop it.
Those are the balls that Milwaukee has to get to first. Anything that hits the rim comes out long. The guards have to come back into the foul line area. Make sure that you don't give the Pistons another scoring opportunity.
2 minutes. 2 minutes.
Hamilton. Making a 9-0 run. Pistons 37, Bucks 28. Bucks have not scored over the last 4 minutes. Skinner is fouled. Nice lead pass from Jones. Brian Skinner will go to the line, foul on Ben Wallace.
Detroit has been overloading, and whichever side that the ball is on, they're bringing the weak side or offside defenders all the way back into the paint area, basically saying, go ahead, if you want to throw it across the court, we'll let you shoot those jump shots from the outside. We don't think you can make it. One of the few times that Milwaukee, as Skinner dove the lane that time, was able to get a seam in there and at least get a pass through their defense.
For the Bucks, that is only 3 free throw attempts in this first half. Coming up on a minute and a half to play in the half. Detroit 37, Milwaukee 30.
Milwaukee going to their zone right now, hoping that perhaps Pistons will miss a couple jumpers.
There's Jones trying to unload, broken up by Ben Wallace. Prince ahead of the field. John Prince extends to a 9-point Piston lead.
Those are the kinds of fast break layups, the easy points that Terry Porter spoke to us about. We cannot continue to give those up. Jones comes right back, has a bad shot attempt, throws a bad pass, takes a bad shot attempt. Pistons on the run.
Offensive foul on Hamilton. Richard Hamilton, playing with the face mask protecting the broken nose, has been fearless, and he's called for the charge as he collides with Van Horn.
He got a little bit caught up in the emotion of the crowd, the high energy all of a sudden after the poor shot selection by Jamin Jones, and tried to do a little bit too much.
Second on Hamilton, he'll take a seat, replaced by Hunter.
Larry Brown trying to protect Hamilton. He doesn't want him to pick up that third foul before the half, so Lindsey Hunter comes in to replace him.
Red looking to post up on Hunter, draws the foul. Michael Red will shoot two.
Well, Lindsey Hunter is a very aggressive player, very strong. He's got long arms and deflects a lot of passes, so he anticipates when Red is going to go up. Tries to get a swipe at the ball before Red can cock that left-handed jumper up there.
6 points for Red. Milwaukee with only 9 points in this second quarter. Michael Red looking to turn it from the 5 of 19 from the field, only 12 points in game 4. Now the Bucks do have a foul to give with 40 seconds to play in this first half. Shot clock down to 6. Here is Lindsey Hunter for 3. 20 seconds to go in the half. And Damon Jones gambling through the lob.
Now Mike Shula, the assistant coach, just went up to Terry Porter, reminded him we have a foul to give right now, but a terrible decision that time. And Larry Brown wants to take a timeout to talk this over. Terry Porter just stood up, Marv, and told Damon Jones coming over, one shot. We're going to run the clock down to get the last shot. Damon Jones never looked at him, tries to throw a lob pass, never realized the time and score situation. A bad turnover, bad decision.
11 and 8/10 seconds remaining in this first half. Now look at the Eastern Conference brackets. Pacers sweeping the Celtics. The Heat and the Hornets even at 2 apiece. And the Nets took care of the Knicks. The Nets following the sweep of New York in the midst of a long layoff. They had finished up this past Sunday night. And they're waiting in the wings for the winner of this series. Bucks hoping to extend to a 6th game on Saturday, and the Pistons try to close it out here at home tonight.
And during the regular season, when the Nets matched up against Detroit held them to 9 points below their season scoring average. So the Piston defense had its effect on the Nets.
Pistons by 7. 11 seconds to go in the half. Hamilton is back. Played by Jones. And his foul. That's the foul to give. So we're down to 5.7 remaining in the half.
Good decision as to when to foul. Damon Jones didn't do it too soon. He waited till Hamilton put it on the floor a couple times. It took more time off the clock. Then he fouled before he got in the act of shooting.
Prince will throw it in. Phillips looking for the shot. Phillips tried to scoop, and that would have been too late. Well, the Milwaukee Bucks hit only 4 of their last 26 field goal attempts. They started out at 10 of 15 without a field goal the last 6 minutes of this first half. The Detroit Pistons, led by Richard Hamilton with 9 points. Let's go to Charles with Richard.
Thanks, Marv. Richard, first half looked like you guys were pressing a little bit as the game began. Is that a true statement?
We definitely want to make a statement early. We want to come out aggressive and not just let them get in the offense. I think we've been doing a good job of that so far.
Talked to Ben yesterday. He said you guys wanted to deliver the knockout blow and get it done tonight, obviously, but you didn't want to throw a lot of haymakers early. Are we starting to see you guys get into the flow and throw a few more of those at the Bucks?
Yeah, we just got to take advantage of our crowd. You know, good opportunity to play at home, and we want to go out and take advantage of it. I think we're trying to hopefully have a great 24 minutes so we can get the win.
All right, Richard, thank you very much. Good luck in the second half. Marv, back to you.
All right, thanks, Charles. Detroit has been an excellent team at home. 31-10 during the regular season. Despite 8 turnovers in the second quarter, the Pistons by 7 over Milwaukee. Let's go to Ernie in our Atlanta studio.
And it's the Verizon Wireless halftime report.
Hey, it's going to be fun
Johnson
tonight.
and Kenny the Jet Smith, and as you can probably tell, that's really not really Charles.
That's not Chuck. I would have never known. He's a stiff.
If it were the real thing, it would be devouring that
See,
food
I
in
brought
front of
this
him.
out, Ernie, because I said, if anything can get him here, this can get him here. He's not here. This will make sure he comes.
Some fine dining from our friends at Soiree Catering.
Just to say,
and events.
So wait, make sure he likes this.
Oh, you're sticking your finger in his lasagna.
That's
man.
right. Now I'm getting him back for all the stuff that he does.
Actually,
and wait,
Chuck,
and his drink too.
Chuck apparently having some travel problems. He was in a golf tournament in Alabama today with Bo Jackson and Tom Watson. And
he don't have to come.
Yeah.
We got the real stiff here.
There you go.
There's a stiff in the house.
So instead of getting the normal analysis, which we would probably get from the cardboard cutout, we'll just go.
He's cardboard anyway, Chuck.
To Kenny with he's Fugazi. And so why don't you tell me what you saw in the first 24 minutes?
Well, I saw no rhythm. That was the one thing I saw. Besides, I didn't see Chuck, but I didn't see any rhythm either to the game. Because for one of the things that New Jersey, if you're watching, this is what you're going to have to deal with. Okay, they miss shots. They don't shoot that great, Detroit. But what they do, they get back. Here's the alley-oop to Richard Jefferson. Oh, no, it's not going to Richard Jefferson, New Jersey. They get back and they get dunked. So you have to be careful and a little bit better with the basketball in the next round, New Jersey. I'm talking to you, New Jersey.
Now look at this. This is uncalled for. I mean, we appreciate the support. I'm sure you and Charles do. You guys rock. I'm just okay.
No, okay, but you can always change okay means like, put something for okay. I don't know it would be good.
I have no idea.
This
anyway,
stiff is still not here.
When we come back,
he's cardboard.
Could be a Charles
Chuck
appearance.
is really cardboard.
You never know.
I'll tell you. That's an expression we use too. But go ahead.
Okay, we will look ahead to Game 2 of our doubleheader, which is the Dallas Mavericks and the Sacramento Kings. The Kings looking for the clincher at Arco.
This kid ain't here. I'm taking his food.
Out west, the Mavericks have been shooting blanks. Trailing 3-1, they return to Sacramento to face the Kings' court. Can Dallas find the touch to keep their season alive? Or will there be a royal celebration? Mavericks Kings, following Game 1. Win or go home.
The Halftime Report is brought to you by Verizon Wireless, the official wireless provider of the NBA.
Can you hear me now? Good.
Welcome you back to the Verizon Wireless Halftime Report. This cardboard cutout of Charles, very realistic. Right down. Oh, he does.
He's been eating. How's he got the food? Hey, I always want to do this to Chuck. I gave him a shiner. I gave him a shiner.
Kings trying to give the Mavs a shiner in Game 2. Here's C. Webb.
I mean, it's real important that, we don't want to go back there and fight with them on their home court. So we need to use, our home court advantage. This is what it's for, and we only have it in this round, so we better take advantage of it because we don't want to go back and play them in Dallas and have a close game or have them beat us and take it to a Game 7. So it's very important.
Never want to have to go back and do extra work if you can take care of things at home. Is that correct, Jet? That's what the Kings are doing tonight.
Well, the Kings are in a great position. They are playing the Dallas Mavericks, who like to play the style that the Kings play. But however, the Kings have more weapons doing it, so to speak. If you look at Dallas's team, they have rookies, Daniels and Josh Howard, coming in the game and depended on. But when you look at the Kings bench, you have experienced veterans. Peeler, an all-star, and Brad Miller. Guys coming off the bench that can do the same job but do it better.
So is there any question that the Kings end the series tonight? Can the Dallas Mavericks send that thing back?
I don't think so. I think one of the things that you'll see is a really aggressive Kings basketball team, and they shoot the ball so well in that Arco Arena. When they get in Arco, Peja, who didn't have great games in the last game,
snapped out of it a little bit in the third quarter.
He will snap out of it at home. He's a home shooter. Those shots are going to go down tonight. I can't see Dallas coming back. What do you think, Petey? Don't talk to me like that. Don't ever talk to me like that again.
Hey, you got lasagna on your hands.
Yeah, I'll tell you.
Back with more in just a minute here on the Verizon Wireless halftime report. Go ahead. While you can, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. What?
It's a 39-32
Lucky
game.
I'm not a violent man, Chuck.
Pistons 24 minutes away from advancing to the conference semis.
I hope he's going all night. This will be fun.
I don't want to be here when he sees that. Before we go here on the Verizon Wireless halftime report, Charles is here. I tried to get Kenny, Charles, I tried to get Kenny not to deface that because we really, and
Ernie, when I walked in, you were standing over it.
I know, I was trying to see if I could stick broccoli to it, and I couldn't do it, and then you walked in and caught me, but there you go. It's good to have you with us tonight. We want to report on your whole day later.
Oh, okay, good. I'll be happy to.
The halftime report has been brought to you by Verizon Wireless, the official wireless provider of the NBA.
A look at the Detroit skyline. We are at the Palace of Auburn Hills, and the Pistons lead the Bucks at halftime, 39-32. Marv Albert with the czar, Mike Fratello, our statistician Brian Taylor passing on a couple of notes. How about this? Milwaukee 10 points in the second quarter. That's a new franchise playoff record low for the Bucks for a quarter. 32 points in the first half ties a franchise playoff record low for points in a half. And when it comes down to it, the Piston backcourt has just crunched that Milwaukee backcourt.
Well, first of all, going to Milwaukee, like you said, they've gotten 4 points out of their bench. Damon Jones, who's averaging 11, has 0 points at the half. They're shooting in the low 30 percentile. Now, you talk about the backcourt with the Pistons. They have dominated this series. Coming into tonight, they had outplayed the Milwaukee backcourt 10 out of 16 quarters. When you get Billups and Hamilton, who are their two leading scorers during the regular season, two leading scorers during the playoffs. Again, now in this game, they hold a 16-8 advantage over Milwaukee's backcourt.
Let's take a look at tonight's Home Depot game summary. Shooting percentages, not that Detroit is lighting it up at 38, 16 of 42 from the field. Bucks 14 of 41. So where have the Pistons done it? Well, they've done it in the rebounding department, 32-19. Although the Pistons with 8 of their 10 turnovers taking place in the second quarter.
12 of those 32 rebounds were offensive rebounds, more second shot chances.
Let's check in with Charles Davis.
Thank you, Marv. I talked with Terry Porter coming out after to begin the second half, and he said he loved what they did early in the game. Drive, draw, and kick, as you guys described early. Then he felt that they got stagnant with the basketball and lost their movement. So he wants the offense to regain the movement they had early in the ball game and also become stronger on the boards. You just mentioned the 12 offensive rebounds. That's exactly what Coach Porter cited. Guys, back to you.
All right, thank you, Charles. Ready to go in this third quarter. Bucks need a win to keep this series alive. If they can beat the Pistons here on the home court, there would be a Game 6 Saturday back in Milwaukee, while the Pistons are hoping to wrap it tonight.
Not like the three-point line has been a big weapon for Milwaukee all season. They averaged 5 made three-pointers per game, but in the first half, 0 for 3 in the three-point line.
And the Bucks with only 12 points the last 16 minutes of play. Here is Van Horn. So Keith Van Horn opens up the third quarter and brings Milwaukee within 5. Larry Brown back to his starting lineup. Phillips and Hamilton in the backcourt. Ben Wallace, Rasheed Wallace, and Tayshaun Prince up front. Rasheed Wallace, he's been off. Rebounded by Van Horn.
Richard Hamilton, one thing he does, he works very hard to get open shots. Again, Van Horn stepping back for the three this time, misses that opportunity. But Hamilton is a guy who understands that he just can't stand still. He's a guy who works, comes off screens to get himself those opportunities. One of the best at curling into the lane, off of screens, and that time Ben Wallace kicks it out of bounds.
Although we heard Richard talking earlier on the soundbite that we played that he is moving without the ball more effectively than something he picked up in his Washington days under Greg Collins.
Another example of a guy who will use screens and work endlessly to get himself open is Allen Iverson, for example. A lot of screens set in Philly's offense for Iverson.
Offensive foul.
Offensive foul number 44.
That's 2 on Van Horn.
Second, Pistons basketball.
Just underway here in the third. Pistons 39 and the Bucks 34. Phillips being played by Jones. Damon Jones very quiet. First half after going 6 of 6 the other night. Rasheed Wallace, who was 1 for his previous 7. Pistons lead by 7. Bucks went 41 and 41 during the regular season. They finished in the number 6 seed. They had 3 chances to clinch the 4th spot and home court advantage in this first round, but they lost their last 3 games, and it really hurt. Here's Smith fouled by Ben Wallace. They lost at home to New Orleans. They lost to Cleveland. They lost at home to Toronto on a 3-pointer by Jalen Rose with 5 seconds to play. That's the second on Ben Wallace. Bucks losing their rookie point guard TJ Ford, who's been out since late February with a bruised spinal cord. He will undergo surgery in a short time. And after the good start, the Bucks fell back. They dropped 14 of the last 22 games. There's TJ, who made second team all rookie.
Different pace, different tempo when he was playing for them. Has the ability to go from foul line to foul line with the ball, dribble, penetrate, and create open shots for his teammate.
Pistons up 41-36. Rasheed Wallace. Good recovery by Joe Smith. And a foul on Smith, so Rasheed put the hit on the arm, and he'll shoot 2.
Larry Brown telling us before the game that Rasheed Wallace really struggling with that plantar fasciitis that he has in the foot. And, you know, the cure for that, Marv, is time off. Unfortunately, you don't get that much when you get into the playoffs. You just kind of keep on rolling through it.
Sheet at the line for the first time. Wallace coming over from the Atlanta Hawks. And after Rasheed joined the Pistons, they went 20-6. This was a strong club before Rasheed Wallace became a member. But he has added so much and so many facets of the game, and has helped other members of the Pistons. We talked earlier about Tayshaun Prince, how his game has expanded since Rasheed joined the team. Mason. And back comes Hamilton. 3-on-2. Prince from Hamilton.
You could see the Jets turn up on the 3 white jerseys for Detroit. They just basically outran Milwaukee down the floor that time to get numbers.
Foul against Detroit. It is on Hamilton. That's 3. So a decision for Larry Brown. Hamilton looking over at the bench. And here's Larry will stay with Hamilton.
He's got 1 to play with here. He can let him stay here until he gets that 4th.
Hamilton able to pick it off. Prince, same combination. Pistons lead by 10. Mason spinning into a crowd. 3-on-1. Here's Hamilton. Terry Porter rocks the talk it over. Timeout, Milwaukee.
So it was Hamilton, Prince, and then it's Prince to Hamilton at the end. And you see the speed and quickness of this group when they get out in front. The 1, 2, and 3 spots. The nice bounce pass, the finish by Prince, and then returning the favor. Hamilton takes the pitch ahead pass, finishes with the reverse.
Back in Detroit, the 2004 NBA playoffs on TNT is being brought to you by Southwest Airlines, the official airline of the NBA playoffs and finals. And by Van Helsing on May 7th, adventure lives forever. And here is our Marines teamwork play of the game.
We can go back and talk about how defense leads to easy offense. I want you to note where Tayshaun Prince is located right here, because he's the man that is going to jump and challenge the jump shooter in the corner. Once the shot goes up, now the key is how quickly can you secure the ball and get down the other end. Ball is secured by Richard Hamilton. This is Prince now, the same guy that challenged the shot, now gets out and runs his lane to get down the other end to see what develops. Hamilton with the speed and quickness busting out of there. Prince running the right lane, and Ben Wallace occupying the defense in the middle by running the floor, center lane sprint, the lob, the catch, and finish by Prince.
And apparently, as we were heading to commercial break, Desmond Mason had something to say to one of the officials, and he was hit with a technical foul. There's Desmond. Chauncey Billups will shoot it. So that's 8 unanswered points for the Pistons. They now lead 49-36.
There are, as you know, critical timeouts. A most critical timeout for Terry Porter, because right here at this point, he needs to get a hold of this team and a bit of contact, and almost a lost ball that time by Jones. And now you see Milwaukee trying to get into that hurried up part of their offense, because already it's down to 10 seconds on the 24-second clock.
Smith. Rebounded by Prince.
Coming out of that timeout, Terry Porter understands that if they don't go down, get a quick bucket, get some stops, this thing could quickly move from the 13-point lead on up into the 18-20 point category.
And Wallace. They surround Smith, who lost it. Prince re-kicked it by Smith. Prince thought he was fouled. Van Horn for 3. Oh, Tayshaun Prince in the face of the official, Bill Spooner. Prince off the steal and then thought he was fouled. And he's fortunate he was not teed up.
Mark, I think Joe Smith may have put his hand up through the rim, Mark, that time to block the shot, which is illegal, and he's grabbing his finger, so he may have hit them on the rim when he blocked that shot from the inside.
Nice pass. And Wallace to Tayshaun Prince. Our staff says we will get another look at that, Zach. 51-39 Pistons. Here's Jones. Damon Jones from downtown. Damon Jones, a one-time member of the Pistons with his first field goal tonight. He was 3 for 3 from three-point territory. In game 4, 6 of 6 overall. Very quiet to this point.
Jones had averaged 11 points after the first 4 games. At the half, 0 points for Jones.
Phillips, as Jones hit the floor. Jones felt he was fouled. Pistons lead 53-42. Jones and Red at the guards. Van Horn is up front with Mason and Smith. Here is Red. Michael Red has 10 points.
You see Milwaukee all of a sudden try to make some things happen at the offensive end. Hitting a couple jumpers from the outside to get a little more confidence. Red putting the ball on the floor, getting himself an open look.
Nice crossover by Billups. He was not able to finish. Milwaukee playing 5-on-4. Billups still in the backcourt. Van Horn for 3. Prince Phillips on the run. Sets it up for Rasheed Wallace. Look out. Foul called on Phillips.
Keith Van Horn can't ask for a more open opportunity. No one within 10 to 15 feet, wide open behind the three-point line. He can't knock it down.
All right, here's the play we were talking about just a moment ago involving Joe Smith.
See if his hand comes through the rim. Up through the net to block it. You're not allowed to do that.
Czar with the good eyes from a tough angle. And that's what Prince was arguing about, along with the fact that he felt that he was fouled on the follow.
That's why Larry Brown was halfway down at midcourt, basically talking to the officials that you cannot block the shot inside the rim that way.
Timeout is called. The Piston lead a moment ago, 13, now down to 7. Here it is. Tonight's version of Bud Light's Idle Thoughts from the mind of the zone.
Just thinking about how important defense is to the game of basketball. Coaches stressing defense, and just recently the NBA's all defensive teams were announced. I'm sure you'll recognize a number of these familiar names. Names like Kobe Bryant and Kevin Garnett. Names like Ron Artest. And you know the rest of these guys, I'm sure. Bruce Bowen, the outstanding job. Ben Wallace in there. So here's my question to you,
I was wondering where this was going, yes.
What do these 5 players have in common, besides the fact that they're all on the first team, all defensive team?
2 have the initial D at the start of the name.
Good observation.
They're all excellent defensive players.
Good. Anything else like come to your mind about it? How about
it's an idle thought, so I defer.
How about the fact that all 5 of them are still alive in the playoffs, which must mean defense is the key to success.
I thought you would say all 5 are still alive
in the playoffs. The lob and finish by Rasheed.
That's just a great fact. Your life is an idle thought. Coming up on 5 minutes remaining in the third, and the Pistons lead by 9. Red coming up short, and here's it from the crowd. Pistons remain the same following the timeout. Tony Kukoc has come on for Milwaukee. Hamilton. Oh, it's Tayshaun Prince with the follow. And he continues his superb play. 7 of 11, 16 points, 9 rebounds.
Second time while we've seen Prince come in from the right side. Nobody put a body on him, block him out, and he's capitalized both times with scores.
Here's Red for 3, another air ball. Consecutive air balls thrown up by Michael Red. Phillips on the penetration. Detroit back up by 13. Kukoc. Rebounded by Ben Wallace. They trap Hamilton, and he's pushed, fouled. Combination of Kukoc and Jones. And the foul on Kukoc, his 3rd.
Marv, we see the fast break points for Detroit tonight because they've been getting out in the open floor. 17-7 advantage, fast break points in favor of the Pistons.
Pistons basketball.
Desmond Mason checking back in. Hamilton. And it hit over the top of the backboard, so the ball back to Milwaukee.
It's very discouraging for a team when you play against someone like the Pistons. It seems to take away. Michael Redd goes to the bench after a couple air balls. Terry Porter just wants to give him a break, and we see Jones turn the corner and lay the ball up and in. I was saying it's very discouraging when you can't get good looks at the basket and you can't figure out the puzzle. You cannot find a way to get yourself enough points to compete in the game. It becomes frustrating for the staff, frustrating for the players, obviously.
Here is Billups. Yes. Chauncey Billups from downtown. He has 15 points. Pistons with their biggest lead of the night.
11 for 23 shooting for the Pistons backcourt.
Smith able to recover on the deflection, and the foul is on Prince. Here's Mehmet Okur checking back in for Rasheed Wallace. Wallace leads with 7 points, 6 rebounds. Has not shot well, just 3 of 10. Joe Smith at the line, hit his previous 2. Well, tomorrow night, it's Braves TBS Baseball Friday Night Extra. Braves and the Colorado Rockies. Hall of Famer Harmon Killebrew will join the guys in the booth as guest analyst. Braves Friday Night Extra. That's tomorrow, 9 o'clock Eastern Time.
Joe Smith hits the foul shots. You know, Larry Harris, the general manager of the Milwaukee Bucks, called Joe Smith into the office recently and just said, you know, thanks for having such a consistent year, a very reliable year, as Bill misses the three-point attempt. This is a guy who struggled in Minnesota, having just over 7 points per game, but this is really the best stretch of basketball that I have seen Joe Smith play in the NBA.
And doing it against one of his former teams. Hamilton is stripped. Nice play by Van Horn. Prince is fouled off the steal. Foul by Van Horn. So that's 3 on Van Horn. 13 foul on the Bucks. Coming up on 2 minutes to play in the third. Marv Albert, Lazar, Mike Fratello, Charles Davis. We're at the Palace of Auburn Hills. Better than 22,000 on hand. Another sellout. Here's Hamilton with the bucket. Yes, and it counts. Hamilton will go to the line looking for the three-point play, the foul on Van Horn.
When the spirits start to go down, when you start to lose the belief that you could actually win, then your defense just starts to fall apart. There's no way that Richard Hamilton should get to the rim uncontested that way for the easy deuce and get fouled. Chance for the three-point play. You see it, Michael Redd shaking his head. He understands that right now this team does not believe, they're losing their confidence in the fact that they can compete against this Pistons team.
Hamilton not able to complete the three-point play, but on the back tap kept alive by Ben Wallace. Quincy Hunter checking with Larry Brown. Okur is fouled. And that Okur once again trying to take it to the rim and draws the foul. It is on Mason. The Bucks are now over the foul limit.
Big decision, Mark, coming at the end of the year for the Pistons. Exactly how much money they're willing to invest in Okur. They obviously have to take care of Rasheed Wallace, who will be a free agent, and then Okur, also a free agent. How many teams will come after him and offer him big money?
This is the biggest lead of the night. Detroit up by 15. Michael Redd back on the floor. Minute and a half to play in the third. Here is Kukoc. And Wallace with the save, but into the hands of the Bucks, and Michael Redd able to score. Bucks working off the screen. Yes. It has been a sensational series for the second-year player from Kentucky, Tayshaun Prince.
He just plays the game effortlessly and is so smooth in everything he does out on the floor.
Now Hunter on the run. Intended for Okor, but broken up. Last touch by Mason of the Bucks. Now Brian Skinner checks back in, replacing Tony Kukoc. Down to 44 seconds remaining in this third quarter. Hamilton. Excellent shooting quarter for the Pistons. They're up to 46% for the game. Skinner gets inside. Ryan Skinner with the step. Pistons 69 and the Bucks 54. And the Pistons have played out here down the stretch with 10 seconds to go in this third quarter. Hunter for three. 3 quarters complete at the Palace. Led by Tayshaun Prince. The Pistons with a 15-point lead for Prince. 10 of his 18 here in the third quarter. The Pistons hoping to close it out in 5. We're back in the Motor City at the Palace of Auburn Hills, actually in the suburbs of the city of Detroit. 22nd straight sellout, better than 22,000 on hand as they head to the fourth quarter, and the Pistons in front of the Bucks by 15 points. Oh, Rick Mahorn, a big fan of our guy Steve Clark. I see one of those blindside picks that Rick was set on Steve. It'll send him flying.
Rick destroyed a few people in this league with those backcourt picks that he used to set. Woo.
Rick handling radio commentary these days for the Pistons. Chauncey Billups able to knock it down. He has 17. Steve Kerr working with Kevin Harlan. Doug Collins, a game-time decision, we're told, with the throat problem. Second of our playoff doubleheader. Dallas and Sacramento following the Bucks and the Pistons. Kings in front of that series 3 games to 1. Michael Redd with 16 points, had a couple of air balls earlier. His last 2 buckets have been slams.
Making sure getting the high percentage shot. Not going to take a chance on shooting another one that misses the rim.
Pistons lead 71-56. A red hot third quarter for Detroit. 13 of 22 from the field. Revin Knight off the steal. Knight and Redd now at the guards with Skinner, Mason, and Smith up front. Here's Mason.
You can bet that Larry Brown will let this go. Maybe one more basket or one more turnover, and he'll take a quick timeout. There's no way that he wants to lose this lead and let Milwaukee get the life back in him once again, the belief they can actually steal this game and have to go back to Milwaukee for another one.
Phillips. Hunter on the save. And they have the new shot clock. Here is Okor. Loose ball foul against Milwaukee. Pushing foul charged to Smith. Rasheed Wallace checks back in. And he'll replace Ben Wallace. Ben leads with 6 points. 9 rebounds, 3 block shots. Phillips met on the switch by Skinner. Okor, yes, he had a foot on the line. That's a 2-pointer.
That's what Larry Brown told us about this young man, that he feels so comfortable shooting the ball with range on his shot that it's been an effort to get him down in the low post area. But to his credit, Okoro works hard on it and understands what he has to do to contribute to this team.
8.6 rebounds for Okoro. Shot clock to 5. It has been Mason. Phillips met by Knight. Now Okoro is down low. Draws the double. Rasheed Wallace for 3. Rasheed's shooting has been off here, 3 of 11 from the field. Pistons with a 15-point lead. Just about 3 minutes gone by in the 4th. Knight. So for Brevin Knight, that's his first bucket.
What a difference having some range shooters makes on basketball teams. You spread the defense out. They've got to respect guys that get back behind the three-point line, at least have the ability to make them from back there. And then it opens up all sorts of other things. Dribble penetration, pick and roll game, kicking into the post. Oh, nice pass.
What a play by Okoro. Look away, flip pass down low. Looked like Babette enjoyed that.
He turned to one of the fans who had jumped out of their seat as if to say to him, not bad, huh?
Rob wanted a traveling violation on Mason. 75-62, Detroit. Jersey Nets waiting in the wings. Detroit seeking to wrap it up tonight in 5. Rasheed Wallace.
Mark, you have to be impressed with what Okoro is doing out here. The fact that he's making passes, getting assists, reading the offense the way Larry Brown wants it read. Whether he puts it down in the post, draws a double team, or he goes back by the three-point line, he scores either way.
In this series, he's 12 of 18 from the field. Here's Phillips. Brevin Knight felt that he was pushed. In the second half, the Pistons with 14 assists on their 18 field goals. Joe Smith able to hit on the rainbow shot, so the Pistons lead 79-64. They've been able to maintain this big double-digit lead from midway through the 3rd quarter on. Just under 7 minutes remaining on the 4th. Shot clock down to 5. Rasheed Wallace. Smith again. Back in New Jersey, Lawrence Frank is saying to his assistant coaches, let's not toss those Milwaukee tapes away. Not yet.
You know the entire Jersey staff is sitting there, probably a little pizza right now, watching this game, scouting it out, anticipating who they're going to play. Watch this. This is the one where Brevin Knight feels that Phillips just knocked him away by body blocking him first, finishing second, and then here's that stellar passer from the low post. The look-away pass, Okoro to Prince for the layup.
Just under 6.5 remaining in the 4th quarter, and the Pistons with a 79-66 lead on the Bucks. Let's take a look at our Gatorade X Factor of the game.
The X Factor is the young man out of Kentucky. So smooth, offensive efficiency, jumper, running it on the break, the ability to go up, catch it, and finish it, and then already 2 offensive rebound follow-ups for scores for Tayshaun Prince. And we showed earlier this evening regular season numbers versus what he's done in the playoff series up to this point, and then tonight 20 points, 9 rebounds, 8 assists.
Closing in on a triple-double, also has 2 steals. And we look back at the draft with the Pistons taking Darko Milicic. Joe Dumars will say the reason we did not take Carmelo Anthony was because of the presence of this guy, Tayshaun Prince, coming back at home.
Well, the one disappointing thing about Prince is, Marv, he has no block shots tonight. He's averaging almost 3 blocks a game coming into tonight's game. That's an incredible number for a small forward.
Hunter called for the foul on Knight. And with just under 6 minutes remaining in the fourth, a timeout call. It's been all Detroit. They have a 15-point lead. The 2004 NBA playoffs on TNT are being brought to you by Home Depot. Go from wondering how to knowing how at the Home Depot. You can do it, we can help. By Verizon Wireless, they never stop working for you. By Rain-X Car Wax, shine your car and protect it from Mother Nature. Rain-X protection you can see. And by IBM. Here's what's coming up on TNT.
Trials are inherently dramatic.
You're going to see a case from beginning to end.
Now, cable's only destination for Law & Order.
TNT. TNT.
TNT.
See back-to-back episodes tomorrow at 7 on TNT. We know drama.
Welcome back to the Palace of Auburn Hills. Revan Knight is at the free throw line. Just under 6 minutes to play in the fourth quarter. Bucks have been to the line only 10 times. They are 9 of 11 at the line. Pistons picking up their shooting in the second half. They're just under 50% from the field. They lead by 14 points. Hamilton for the crossover. Shot clock down to 5. Rasheed Wallace.
Milwaukee coming down, trying to figure out a way to get or create a shot. By the time they get the first pass to Michael Redd to begin the offense, it's under 10 seconds already.
That will count, and the foul. And Larry Brown is upset about the call on the continuation. The foul on Hamilton, that is number 4, and Redd will go to the line.
Was he in the act of shooting? That's the question here. As the foul takes place, I think Hamilton grabs it from behind before he actually got the ball up in the air. There, his grasp was there. He was not in the act of shooting at that point, but it doesn't matter what I say because the official counted it too.
Coming up on 5 minutes remaining in the fourth. Detroit's lead is now 12. Backdoor pass for Hamilton, beautifully thrown by Ben Wallace.
Backdoor timeout play by Larry Brown. First play after the timeout. Backdoor lobs. Those are things he loves to do with his teams.
Foul on Prince. Let's check in with Ernie Johnson in our Atlanta studios. Ernie?
Yeah, thank you very much, Marv. There is Dirk Nowitzki, who missed 17 of his 22 shots in Game 4. They've got to win tonight to the Dallas Mavericks. They are down 3-1 to Peja Stojakovic and the Sacramento Kings, trying to clinch at home. Once again, Doug Collins, a game-time decision, much as Mike Fratello was tonight. Mark?
He is always game-time decision. Talking about Mike. Reach-in foul on Rasheed Wallace. That's his first, and Redd will shoot 2.
I don't know what it is, Ernie, whether it's because Charles showed up late tonight, but he came out with an attitude from the beginning tonight. He was on the attack mode right from the beginning of the game.
He seemed to bring that out in most people that you touch in some phase of life.
I was looking for another one of those sunshine suits that Ernie wore last evening in the studio. Forward, obviously, from Sager's closet.
83-71 Pistons. Are you through? Hamilton. Ben Wallace. And a late whistle. Bucks with a mild argument as the call is on Van Horn. That's number 5.
Ben Wallace wanting to finger roll at the end of that. He received the ball, saw the open path of the basket, and said, just can't pass up this opportunity.
Now Ben making his first appearance at the line tonight. 49% at the line during the season. He hit 5 of 6, though, in game 4 on Monday. It's a typical Ben Wallace stat line. He has 10 rebounds, 4 steals, 3 block shots.
Grab of 2 for Ben from the free throw line. And look up, and it seems like the Pistons are much further ahead, but it's still a 13-point game. If Milwaukee could just string a couple of shots together, they'd be back in it.
Red with most unusual touch off the lead pass from Van Horn. 84-73 Detroit. Seems to me like it's an 11-point game.
You have a much better feel and pulse on this type of thing.
Red has scored the last 6 points for the Bucks. Jones with the foul. That's his second, 3rd team foul on the Bucks. Pistons have 4, so this is a non-shooting affair.
Well, at some point, does Milwaukee consider the fact that if the ball goes into the hands of Ben Wallace, do you take fouls and put him on the free throw line so he winds up having to shoot the free throws and you get the ball back on the possession for yourself to try and make up points?
Hamilton came up short. Bucks still alive. There's Jones. Mason is open. Hamilton on the run. It's a 3-on-2. And now pulls it back.
Something to think about here for Milwaukee. The ball should go into the hands of Ben Wallace. Take the foul, put him on the line. Try and get enough possessions to get yourself back in the game.
Prince. Yes. Tayshaun Prince, 11 for 15. He has 24 points. Pistons now lead 86-73. That's a big bucket with Milwaukee coming on. Harry Brown says, get your hands up. Smith. Whoa. I don't think anyone touched that.
I'd like to say that that was a pass attempt that he thought one of his teammates was going to go to that spot, and it was kind of a lob, because I don't think he could miss it that bad.
Hamilton rebounded by Rasheed Wallace. They get the new clock. Under 3 minutes remaining in the 4th. 13-point Detroit lead as they seek to wrap it in 5. The New Jersey Nets waiting in the wings. Phillips. A hustle by Ben Wallace, and a foul is called. It is on Ben. Timeout is called. 2:23 to play in the 4th. We'll be right back. Coming up next here on TNT, it's Game 5 between the Mavericks and the Kings. And tomorrow night on ESPN, it's the Hornets and the Heat, followed by the Nuggets and the Timberwolves. Coverage beginning at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. Sunday at ABC, Lakers and the Spurs coverage starting at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. The Pistons over the foul limit. Mason will shoot 2. Making his first appearances at the line. Desmond Mason, a 77% free throw shooter. So it's an 11-point Piston lead. Here's some pressure by the Bucks as Phillips is able to handle it.
Still plenty of time in the game for Milwaukee. They get a couple stops, come down and make some shots. They are right there. 11-point game. 2.5 minutes to go. Plenty of time.
And the call against the Bucks. It is on Jones. That's their 4th team's foul. So the Pistons will put it in play. Detroit is led by as many has 17. Rasheed Wallace. Kept alive by Ben Wallace.
Now, there's the same problem again. Offensive rebounds. They have a chance to get a possession. Right now, 81 attempts at the basket for Detroit. 74 attempts for Milwaukee.
18 offensive rebounds by the Pistons. Offensive foul. So the ball back to the Bucks. It's on Ben Wallace. That's his fourth.
The only way that Milwaukee gets the ball back is by Detroit shooting itself in the foot. Must come up with those loose balls on the floor when you get those opportunities.
Now to a minute and 40 remaining in this fourth quarter. Red looking for the screen and fires. He has not been able to hit that perimeter shot.
Took about 18 offensive rebounds now. During the season, Detroit averaged just about 12 per game, which put him right close to the middle of the pack in the NBA as far as offensive rebounds go. But give yourself all those extra chances.
Here's Hamilton. Shot clock. Out of three. Rasheed Wallace. Rasheed has been off. And Red. Mason not able to hit with Ben Wallace right there. Oh, what a pass. Phillips for Ben Wallace. Under a minute to play. The Detroit Pistons are headed to an Eastern Conference semifinal series against the New Jersey Nets. Wallace tried the outlet and a foul. So the Bucks are over the foul limit. Terry Porter and his Milwaukee Bucks going 41-41. Michael Redd making his first All-Star appearance. TJ Ford, who went down in late February, did make second team All-Rookie. They finished in the number 6 seed. They were one of the surprises of the season, particularly in the early going.
When you go back to the beginning of the season and the prognosticators were talking about how successful this team was going to be, none of them thought that they would have much success at all, and that this was going to be a disastrous season for the Milwaukee Bucks. They wound up almost with home court advantage, one game away from having home court advantage in the first round. Instead, they had to open up against this outstanding Detroit team.
And a Darko Milicic sighting with 42.8 remaining in this fourth quarter. And we're told that it will be game one here in Detroit on Monday night, starting at 8 o'clock on TNT. And what will be an intriguing series, the New Jersey Nets and the Detroit Pistons, starting on Monday night. Nets coming off the sweep over the New York Knicks. Long layoff. They finished up last Sunday night at Madison Square Garden.
That's a tough thing when you have too many days. You know, you cry on one hand that you want more days of time off to get healthy and practice. On the other hand, when you have too many off, that's not the normal routine. Guys get rusty, they get stale, they get out of rhythm. They start to itch to play those games.
Story here once again for the Pistons. Obviously a group effort, but Tayshaun Prince led the way. Pistons and Nets split the season series. Steve Wallace appeared in only that final game, but Jason Kidd and Kenyon Martin were both ailing with knee problems.
Some speculation at that point that Kidd might be done for the rest of the season. They sat him out, tried to get him healthy back in. He's bounced back. Kenyon Martin just came off with a humongous performance. Just an outstanding game for Kenyon Martin. So I think the Nets are going to be ready.
We're down to the final seconds. Stepped out of bounds. So the ball back to Detroit. Pistons, on the other hand, a 54-win season under Larry Brown. They finished third seed in the Eastern Conference, but they did have a better record than the New Jersey Nets, so they will have home court advantage. And the Pistons have knocked off the Bucks in 5. Tayshaun Prince, the high point man with 24. 19 points for Chauncey Billups, 18 for Rip Hamilton. Michael Redd with 22. He was the high man for the Bucks. The Tayshaun Prince, a playoff career high in points and assists. He had 9 rebounds and 8 assists. So for the Bucks, it is all over. And for the Pistons, it is on to the second round of the playoffs.
And you see Larry Brown adjusting his lineup tonight. Corliss Williamson getting no playing time at all. When you got a guy like Prince going as well as he was going, 11 for 15 from the floor. Larry left him out there a little bit longer, 42 minutes of playing time for Prince. And that's what the guys on the bench have to understand, that there are going to be certain nights where the coach has a feel that it's a certain team that's going to get the job done. That's who he has to go with. You have to understand your role.
And a decisive 5-game win for the Detroit Pistons. The one loss in the series taking place here at the Palace in Game 2. Let's go over to Charles Davis. Charles?
Thank you, Marv. Tayshaun, a great series for you. A career-high 24 points tonight. How did you get this done? Last year you got into the playoffs, your first real experience, but this year a little more experience for you. How'd you get it done this time?
Just trying to continue to be aggressive each game. You know, the guys are doing a good job of just passing the ball, being selfish, and I've just been able to knock my shots down this series. You know, I've had good looks, and I just had the opportunity to knock them down.
All right, you guys have been, slow playing us a little bit about the New Jersey Nets. You don't have to worry about that anymore. You've got them now. Let's look ahead to the next series. How do you guys match up, and how does Rasheed help you this year?
He's definitely going to help us. New Jersey is a great basketball team. They swept us last year. They played great. They came in here and stole both of the first 2 home games of ours when we had home court advantage. So we can't let it happen this time because we can't play catch-up against those guys. They're a dangerous team. So hopefully we'll get some rest in the next couple of days and be ready for them.
All right, Tayshaun, thank you very much. Great series. Marv, back to you.
All right, Charles, Tayshaun almost pulling off a triple-double. The last Piston to come up with a triple-double, Isaiah Thomas in Milwaukee back in May of '89. So for the Czar, Mike Fratello and Charles Davis, Marv Albert saying goodnight from the Palace of Auburn Hills. There will be post-game reaction throughout the night from our studios in Atlanta. You've been watching the 2004 NBA playoffs on TNT.